your heart is right. This is your brother. You love your brother. Your brother is teaching a lot of nonsense, but he thinks it's the truth. But you can't fix that. There's nothing you can do to fix that. Only the Father can fix that. And he will at some point. That's what his plan is. So I believe he will. He's going to do that for everybody. Everybody gets their bubble popped at some point. Okay? Listen to the Millennium and Kingdom teaching, so it might be in the millennium. It might not be now. But everybody gets their bubble popped at some point. So everybody has the same platform and position to make decisions from. Okay? They have to be in that same place to be able to make decisions. You can't make proper decisions without your bubble popped because you can't see what you can't see.
Like, what would be an appropriate time to use that, if that makes sense?
I don't know that I would call it a fleece. I mean, I think that when you really don't know what to do, you can ask Abba to give you some sort of a sign as to what to do. I wouldn't put out a specific thing that he has to, like, I don't want to put hoops out for the Almighty to jump through. Okay?
Right.
So, but I would be willing to say, look, if I've got opportunities and I'm really not sure which one to do, and some of them look like they could be, I don't know, ask him to close doors. That's always an easy one. Most of you do that already. Hey, when you have multiple doors, ask him to close a few. That makes it a lot simpler, okay? But to throw out like, let this exact thing happen that I'll know it's the right thing, you know, the enemy's listening too. And you could have that pop up, okay? And so I'm not just going to look for a fleece sort of deal. I would ask the Father to close doors, ask him to give you some insight or something that is overtly, obviously him. Number one, you don't know what all the businesses out there support. There are a few that you know because they get publicly, outed in some way, but they're all supporting stuff you wouldn't want to support. But that's not why you're doing business. You're doing business because they have a product that you want at a price that you think is fair, and that's what you're there for, okay? So, I wouldn't be overly concerned with who you're doing business with and what they're supporting. I just want to make it real, because seriously, most businesses that you're dealing with are supporting things you wouldn't support on some level, all right, to some degree. So then you can't do business with anybody, all right? So I think you need a much stronger reason, specifically with a specific business, okay, that is a reason why you wouldn't work with them, other than the idea that they're supporting a thing like abortion or whatever that you don't agree with.
My question is more about, during the resurrection, did they believe that they would be resurrected together, that they'd be in the same place, or does it not work that way?
Well, it doesn't work that way, but I don't know that I would think of that, although there are a lot of people that want to be buried over near the Mount of Olives because they think that that's going to be some advantage. Okay, so there's lots of people that have done that over the centuries. So I don't have any thought that being resurrected, that traveling distance is going to be an issue. So I don't think being closer or further away from something is going to be a problem. And as I've told some of you, some of the older ones especially, or unhealthy ones who are worried about, if they pass and what's going to happen, I say, and I've told all of them, I have no doubt that I will be able to find you. And you'll be able to find your loved ones. We'll be able to find people without a problem. The question is a great question. The first thing I would do is tell the child that's a great question. Okay, how do we know? And you say that it's a personal journey, and so then you have to explain how you know. And if you would ask me how I know, it's because I see the evidence in my life in connection to the Word. The Word says it, I see it happen. I see it happen historically, I see it happen personally. And so it's a journey of experience. Yeshua says, and other parts in the verses in Scripture talks about when you've tasted of, right? So when you've tasted of. Now, I have a journey. I'm 60 years old. I've got a lot of years that, it's a reasonable amount of history that I can look at for experience. I'm not like 15 or 20 years old. And I can tell you I've been not in this walk, and I've been in this walk more than once. And I can see a clear contrast. So once you recognize your need transitionally, then you have to give yourself that kind of time on Friday prior to Shabbat to make the transition. So what that may mean is, if you've got a bunch of stuff that's just sitting on your brain, like a job you need to do or a job you need to look for or some other thing, then what you may want to do is write down that you're going to do this after Shabbat. Because the brain's going to want you to deal with it and tends to handle this. I do this when people have trouble sleeping because their heads just won't stop to go to sleep. So then assure yourself that you'll deal with it in the morning. Well, the same thing with Shabbat. Just say, I will deal with this. Tell your brain, oh, we're going to deal with this as soon as the sun goes down. Okay? As soon as Shabbat's over, we'll deal with this. But that writing it down sort of helps the brain to realize, yes, you are committed to deal with it. Because the brain's afraid you're going to forget and not deal with it. If someone's giving you something that's from where they live or from some sort of thing like that, there's probably nothing wrong with that as long as it's not connected to anything religious. But if they're giving you something that is connected to their belief system and their religion, certainly that would be something you wouldn't do, right? Okay? So, if I was visiting somebody in a country that's very different than the U.S., I may bring something from here as a gift. Or if they're coming from a country, they may bring something from their country as a gift. That's fine, provided that it's not inappropriate in the actual object itself, and it wasn't used for any religious thing. And if it's food, delicacies, that it's something that you can actually eat. Okay? Because, a lot of countries and a lot of cultures think some things are delicacies that are pretty darn gross. Okay? Seems the more gross it is, the more it's considered a delicacy. This is always the battle between belief and Torah observance and understanding how they synergize. And so he's saying, look, the whole point of the Torah, okay, he said, therefore the Torah became our trainer. Okay, in other words, it gave us the rules and things to train us unto Messiah. In other words, to train us to prepare to be like Messiah, to prepare us for Messiah, all these things like that. It says, in order to be declared right by belief. Because with Messiah is the belief side. In other words, you do it because of belief. You don't do it just because of obedience. We do it because of what we call belief obedience. We do it out of belief, but it's still obedience. There's a thing called the millennium, right? During the millennium, where is Satan? He's chained, bound up, and in the bottomless pit, right? He's chained. Oh. So what happens at the end of the millennium, or just short of the end of the millennium? He gets released. He doesn't escape. So why would the Creator release? He's locked up. Why would you release him? Because he serves a purpose. His purpose is he's the greatest sorting mechanism that Abba has. To sort out who's in and who's out. Who's real and who's playing games. Yeah, you don't want to be rude and obnoxious about it. Just remind them again, look, I don't participate in this. I would rather, if you wanted to give me a gift without Christmas wrappings and everything else on it, and give it to me some other time during the year, because then it's just a gift from you. Right? You're just giving me a gift because I'm your nephew, I'm your grandson, I'm whatever, right? Then you're not connecting it to this event. I don't participate in this event called Christmas. And so that's more the thing. Look, I think I should have also said that Hanukkah is coming, and Hanukkah is not Jewish Christmas, okay? Okay? Oh, you guys got one night, well, we're going to do 8 nights, okay? So that's a new thing started in the 1960s in the U.S. It's not like something that started from the beginning, gift giving for Hanukkah. Okay, that's sort of an American, New York thing.